Thanks very much. I'm really glad I didn't do a slide on me, because that would have just duplicated what's happened there. So getting the most out of mobile, the closest you can get to your customers, obviously that's what we do as a company. Just a quick raise of hands of who doesn't have a mobile. Our point exactly. Everybody has a phone. Sorry? Yeah, who has two or three is actually the better question. So that's the beauty of mobiles. Firstly, they're personal. It's your own phone. A lot of times if you have a computer or an email address, it might be shared, but a phone is yours. It's your own device. Pervasive means you carrying it around with you all of the time. It's always with you, pretty much always on unless you don't have battery. Proximity means it's on you, but also we know your proximity from the phone. You can get that kind of information out of it. The stats are that smartphones are checked 110 times each day. So there's a good chance that your message will get through if you cause one of those interactions to happen. Obviously, a global reach, you can get consumers all over the world utilizing them. There's ROI measurements. Obviously, you can check what the value of your campaign is, and is it making you money. And then if you're not in mobile, it's just something that a good quote that I found was, good companies always make sure they're investing some money, roughly 10%, in unproven yet potentially powerful areas. Marketers must do the same. There isn't an expectation of a short-term return, but rather the opportunity to identify a mobile program, from apps to mobile wallets or even messaging, that will help ignite future business. So it's difficult sell to CEOs and FDs, I understand, but to try and get across the idea that this will help us to generate income in the future. So some quick stats on the mobile market in South Africa. This is the best-selling phone in South Africa, the Nokia 105. There are over 2 million of these handsets in the country, and that's just from the two big networks. So that's something you really need to be aware of. Okay, there are 37.5 million unique cell phone subscribers in South Africa. So a lot of people have two SIMs or whatever, but this is unique. 87% of those consumers are on prepay. And that's very important when it comes to utilizing mobile data, getting on internet, that kind of thing. The cost of your data is really visible when you're on prepay. 40% of handsets are smartphones in South Africa, but that also means that 60% of consumers cannot use the internet or apps on their phone. So if you have an app and your market is kind of mid to low LSM, you're not hitting the right space. Facebook has got 14 million members in South Africa. If you take that as a comparison of the 37.5 that are on mobile altogether, it's actually quite a small proportion of the population, and 12 million of them use their phones to access Facebook. So the phone is still a good mechanism to speak to even the Facebook users. And 80% of internet users in South Africa use a mobile technology to access the internet. So it's either a phone, a tablet, possibly a dongle, that kind of thing. But mobile is really the way to speak to customers, across the board. So it's decision time, really. Who are your consumers? Do they fit in the smartphone owner space? Do they fit in the feature phone who kind of call and text? Are they a bit of both? You've got to have a plan to talk to these guys. And if you're not sure where they are, you need to find out, and then talk to them on the technology that they are most comfortable with and that they have, that's more pervasive in that consumer group. So let's start with the smartphone consumer. It's a magical device. So many ways to engage customers, obviously through social media, as we just heard about the Twitter conversation, getting people involved in mobile loyalty and payments, and people can window shop for your products. They can do actual shopping for your products. You can scan QR codes and get benefits, discounts, that kind of thing. And obviously the key element here is apps. So, okay, we'll talk about apps. Apps, the key for me is it has to offer your consumer continued benefit. They really need to have it on their phone, and there must be reasons to keep using it. Having an app that has one use and then deleting it serves you no purpose. If you spend a lot of money developing that app to do a certain thing, and it does that thing, and the consumer moves on, that hasn't done you any favors. So a continued benefit. Keep developing. This is why I say it's a phased approach. Develop the app, put it out there. Are people using it? Throw in some more functionality. This also gives you time to budget, so you don't have to spend all that money developing a full scope app, put it in, phase it, try a little bit here, a little bit there, test, test, test. Is it working? Are people using that functionality? If not, pull it out. It's wasted money. It's wasted space on your app. It's taking up people's attention, but they're not actually using it. And obviously be prepared to change. Now, there are 3 types of apps. So there's a native app, which is an app that's specifically designed for a type of operating system. So you get a phone, if you download an app for your iPhone, that's specifically designed for your iPhone. There might be a similar app that's for Android or, God forbid, Windows Mobile. But it's not the same app. There has to be specific changes. It has to be designed in a slightly different way. It's loaded up onto the App Store. The App Stores then approve them or disapprove them. And any changes you make, you have to go through that same sort of process. You can use the web, so design a web page that people can go to and utilize the phone, utilize your functionality that you want to get across. That's just simple. The problem is it's not available on the App Store, and you have to then communicate a specific web page, a landing page that people can use. But you can design very good-looking web pages. Facebook's website looks like their app. So you can go onto facebook.com and on your mobile, and it looks like an app. And so you can utilize that functionality. And then there's this hybrid method, which is basically you could create a container that you load on the App Store, and the container pulls a website into it. And the beauty of that is that you can have one design of your website that's used across different types of mobile environments. So just iPhone and Android phones they have different containers, but they both use the same data inside them. So one of the issues with one of the benefits of having a native app, though, is the functionality that you get from the phone. So you can use the camera, you can use the speakers, you can use NFC, Bluetooth, you can use all of the functionality that the phone has from a native app. A web app won't give you that, and a hybrid app will give you some of that. So you need to kind of make a decision on what's important to you. So are push notifications important? Do you want to push messages through your app onto your device? Geolocation, geotargeting, that sort of thing. Augmented reality. Do you want people to be able to shine their app on something and see something else? According to Mark Zuckerberg, pretty soon screens will be irrelevant. Everyone will wear some sort of glasses, which I've been very happy about, and they will be able to see whatever they want to see projected on anything. So you won't need a TV. You just put your glasses on, you sit on your sofa, and you say, "Oh, show me the latest edition of American Gods." And that will show as far as you're concerned, on your screen. And then, fortunately, my wife could sit next to me and watch some baking show of some description. So we can sit. So that's the beauty of it, is that augmented reality is coming, and that's what. But you can do things like that on your phone. The Pokemon Go is an app, as an example, where you're running around in real life, but seeing things that aren't really there through your screen. So I've mentioned, loyalty programs and things like that. So. This is just a little video clip of a really cool app that I want to show you guys. Basically it's an hotel.
Just tap it.
You download the app, you get the app, you make a reservation, you check in with your phone. It's as simple as that?
That's right. And if you have a certain room type, you can specify that. And so not only are you checking in and you're getting your key, but you're getting that room with a view, that room that's quiet, that room that's farther from the elevator, whatever it is that matters to you on that particular stay.
So we'll bypass the front desk completely, unless I need something. It is the biggest disruption of the hotel front desk ever.
It's a huge change. As a guest, you should be able to walk in, go to your room, ask for help, talk to somebody. But there's no reason that waiting in line or having that pain point is your first experience. You see the green?
Yeah.
And then...
There it is, right there. Okay, so there is the key.
You have to tap the mobile device, and that's all it is.
This sounds to me like something a millennial would do without even thinking. It sounds like something like my parents would do very reluctantly. Is it generational?
In the beginning, in terms of adoption, it'll be generational, but the guest response that we've had when we've done the testing has been universally positive and enthusiastic.
I could order room service with this?
Well, that's what we're working on next. We're increasingly going to upgrade the functionality of the app. So you can do things like tell us where you are and what you want. The other thing is, as we learn more about you, and again, assuming you're comfortable with it, we can start to send you offers that are targeted to exactly what you want.
Oh, right down to mapping the area where you are. It knows
So
exactly
you
where
can-
you are. How do I know that this is not going to be bad for my privacy? How do I know that someone else isn't going to be able to get to my room?
It's double encrypted. The technology is set up so that I think it's actually safer than having a room key, because if you lose your mobile device, you notice it right away.
Right.
If you have to use your passcode to get into your phone,
Right.
even if someone finds your phone, they can't get into your room. As far as being able to track you in other ways, the way we look at this is personalization is going to be the new frontier for hospitality. Part of personalization is knowing how much about you want us to know.
Okay, I love that clip because it really leads on to the next point that I'm making, in that it doesn't end with the app. So these guys have totally re-engineered their hotel, their lift, their rooms, everything to be able to open a door or a lift with Bluetooth using a mobile phone. So an app is great, but in most instances for a retailer or some sort of venue or almost any environment, you need to do more than just have an app. There needs to be a reason for it to benefit that consumer in your environment. So in your store or in your venue, whatever it happens to be. So I just listed a couple here, discounts. Perhaps you get free Wi-Fi because you've got the app. Perhaps there's free content. Maybe you can watch TV shows or movies or something in a venue. So you're sitting in a coffee shop and you get free Wi-Fi, and then you also get to watch a free episode of your favorite show. That kind of thing can really benefit the consumer. Obviously, comments and complaints, we all hate complaints, but actually to give consumers a quick and easy way to give you that information, actually turn a complaining customer around, you've got one for life. That's really the gist of it. Payments, you can get sort of e-wallet or payment plans, and I put access, and that's the sort of thing where perhaps you've got, a special opening day where only people with the app can turn up and go into your store, or there's a new product launch, or you have after hours opening. Things like that where you can get in by only if you happen to have the app. So the point I'm getting across is an app is great. It doesn't do everything. You'll need to do some stuff on the ground to integrate that app into, or integrate the app into your store or whatever environment that it is that you happen to have. So I mentioned mobile payment. So there are obviously things like payment apps, SnapScan and Zapper and things like that, which quite well. But also you could set up like an e-wallet for your own customers, where perhaps any discounts they've accumulated go into that wallet, and they can top that wallet up, and then they can use that to shop in your store. What's great about that is that you start to then understand the customer profile by the purchases they've made. So you can see, because everything is going through your platform, you can see what they purchased, when, how frequently, that kind of thing. Whereas on the whole, you may not get that. And then obviously, if you're in a store, you might get a kind of push notification saying, we see you're in or near our store, pop in, come in, have a coffee on us, or something along those lines. So things like that. So then the next action, is how engaged actually are our consumers. So a recent study by the GSMA, some big international organization, South Africa scored 2.3 out of 10 for mobile engagements, which means that a lot of people have smartphones and we don't engage on them a lot. So we're like 25%, less than 25% engagement on our phones, as in on the internet. So we're a 32nd country out of 56 surveyed. So we're probably lower than we thought as far as that is concerned. The preference for most consumers is to call or send an SMS over some sort of internet usage. They almost never use their phones to purchase or to go do banking. So they'd rather do it in face-to-face. And I just put a side note here, tablets and laptops, probably more used for that kind of engagement. And they love to consume free content. So whatever is free, if there's free Wi-Fi, if there's free whatever it happens to be, our consumers in South Africa, this is their kind of driving mantra. So let's go to the feature phone customer, the second option that we had there. Really, with regards to feature phones, a database is key, because you're going to be talking to consumers primarily probably via SMS. So you need to have a database of this consumer. So you need to incentivize some sort of engagement. Competitions are fine, but there are some kind of legal issues with regards to re-communicating with people once you've got their data through a competition. So other mechanisms, you need to get their opt-in so that you can communicate to them. You need to understand how they use their devices. A lot of people have got more than one device. We have a lady who's on her phone. I'm so interesting. And a lot of people have got more than one device. They might use their phone for one phone for calling and another one for texting. So you need to understand how they do that kind of thing and what are they doing with that. And there is a high cost for phone usage. So try and reduce that barrier to help the consumers engage with you a little bit better. So let's just walk through a few of the options. SMS obviously works on every phone. We've all had them, and we probably all agree that they're well received in most instances. 98% of SMSs are read, as opposed to 22% emails. So they're actually, it's a great way to communicate with your customers. To receive an SMS is no cost. Might be a pain sometimes, but there's no cost. It doesn't cost you anything. You can personalize them, of course. You get messages from your bank telling you withdrawn X amount of money, or you can get balance inquiries. You can do, they'll have your name in, that kind of thing. Very cost effective. There's no setup fee like there is with regards to setting up an email. There's no design. There's no HTML, that kind of thing. Quick to deploy because if you've got some sort of emergency or recall or something along those lines. And obviously we can give you reports on delivery rates and undelivered and that sort of thing. USSD. That number there actually works. That's a demo we have of a little account platform. If you want to dial that and see, you can see how it works. Unfortunately, it says there's different languages, but only available in English. I'm sorry about that. But again, it works on every cell phone. So for your feature phone user, that's great. But even for your smartphone user, every phone is equipped to run run USSD. The 98% of consumers who are prepaid customers, they use USSD every time they top up. So most of consumers in the country are aware of USSD, even if you're not. Obviously, it's interactive. I don't know if anybody's utilized it, but you can ask several questions and come back and forth. And the cost for the consumer is low to nothing, depending on how you structure it. And you can obviously connect to your clients' databases and pull information from there. And again, it's cost effective. And you can change the whole string, the whole platform behind the string, and have a whole new interactive experience, but still have the same mechanism to engage. So in a way, it's like a website where you might go to a website one day and the next day it looks totally different. USSD can work in exactly the same way. And don't forget about voice. These consumers use voice. They listen to messages. You can do outbound voice messages. I know I'm not a big fan of them, I'll be honest. I got one the other day. Are you? No, just hang up. You don't listen. But a lot of people do it. It still makes financial sense to people, and that's, again, the ROI. You can request voice messages. We've got a client who's got quite a detailed instructions on how to use their product. And their consumers send an SMS saying, send me those instructions, and we drop a voicemail onto their voicemail box. So they've always got it. They can go back and listen to it again and again if they want to. So that kind of functionality works very well. And just phone people. Get a call center. Speak to people on the phone. People actually, it can be quite engaging if you've got something to say. So don't forget about voice. So I guess the key through the whole process here is one-on-one communication. There's things called chatbots out there where you can have you think you're having a conversation with a person, but it's some sort of device, a robot, a computerized system that's talking back to you. Very helpful to generate one-on-one communication. Big data is the whole conversation, and that's what that guy said on the video. Talk to people, personalize the conversation you're having with them. And that's the beauty of big data, is you get out there and you're talking to a whole group of people, but they feel like they're talking to them on a one-on-one basis. I put here OTP, probably it's in the wrong place, but one-time PIN, as a kind of validation of any numbers that people might give you online. So it helps you to make sure that that is the right person you're speaking to. You put in your phone number on a website, you get an SMS saying, please validate that phone number by putting in this PIN. Then you know that's the right person you're talking to. And then all the rest of them talk to the customers, and on the channel that they choose. So if they want to talk to you via phone, speak to them on the phone. If they want to send you a Facebook message, speak to them in that mechanism. If you can do WhatsApp, do that. Try not to push people away onto your preferred mechanism, rather have them engage on the one that they've chosen to talk to you about. Listen to consumers, obviously, and get back to them on whatever they've talked to about. Segment the database that we've collected so that you can talk to different groups in the big data idea about similar projects. take away barriers to entry, build loyalty, and obviously local content is key. A lot of people love the free content, but local content. So try and develop, I think the lady from Twitter said the same thing, develop content, develop information that people want to engage with and that they feel an affinity with. So just kind of going forward, beyond the handset. So I said Zuckerberg wants to get rid of the screen altogether. That's happening. You can talk to people on various mechanisms now. I've got the Apple Watch, it's there. If you send me a text message, can I read it on my watch? So those kinds of things, it's useful to understand that. Does your app have push messaging that'll work on any handheld device that I'm wearing? On the glasses, can I read it on my car screen? So just be aware of the different technologies that people are using and how they want to choose that channel to communicate with. They don't want to have to look at a different device to change to move the conversation on. So I put things like augmented reality and IoT, the big talk, Internet of Things. So everything's going to be connected soon. And you might get a message through on your fridge or your microwave or your drill. I mean, there's any number of devices that will be connected and you could get messaging through them. And as a brand, are you ready to talk to people on these different types of devices through your air conditioner? It's important just to, these things aren't necessarily ready now, but your plan, you need to be thinking about it going forward. So really, that's me. As I said, Stu Chalmers at the beginning. If you've got any questions, I'm here, or you can catch me outside for a few minutes. Thanks a lot.